When we can lead ourselves, we're so freaking magnetic that other people already immediately buy from us. Welcome to the podcast Manifesting Big Money Fast. My name is Jeanine Hurd. I am so excited that you found this podcast or that you're tuning in to another episode. This podcast is all about manifestation, big money, energetics, spirituality, how it's all connected, and most importantly, how you can increase your bank account right now. So let's dive in today's episode. Money lovers, welcome back to another episode. If you didn't send me a message on Instagram stating she or clicked on the link below to get your $22 offer for She Leads, I don't know what the hell is wrong with you. Because this is insane. And I am just making this so wildly and easily accessible to everyone because we do not have to have a freaking conversation about money, business, marketing, manifesting, energetics, whatever it is. If you do not master this, this is the basics, the foundations. This is on what my business has been built on. Until today. In the beginning, I did this very subconsciously. If you've been in my world, like literally from day one onwards, there were times when I said, oh my gosh, guys, this is really, so here I am. Jeanine just quit her job in investment banking because I was tired of it. I had no clue what to do next. I thought, let me just get a job. I have a good education. I'm just going to find another corporate job. Never ever would I have thought that I'm going to run my own business. So I found myself, after I quit, on a world journey for 3 months and basically spending all the money I had saved. So I started this company with literally 300 euros, and that was the money I kind of needed for health insurance. So basically, I had to sell very early from the beginning. I had to master on what really brought money in because I was literally at the survival stage. And this, looking back, turned out to be the greatest gift ever I could have received. Why? Because I had to show up. I had to show up. I had to sell. I had to be live. I couldn't mean no's I've received anything. I just had to show up and sell over and over and over again. I had to do my podcast. I had to share value. It's like literally I had to, because the other option was getting a job and being employed. And at that state, I'm like, hell no, that ain't gonna happen. Not going back, not came so far, not learned all of this, not overcoming daily my freaking fears now to go back into the corporate world. And this is really how I made it work. After 3 months, I already had my first month in which I made 30K. I think after 6 months, I had my first 100K month. And by the end of 12 months, I crossed $1 million in sales, which was really, really freaking insane. And something I did back then, very like subconsciously, all of the things I'm sharing with you, I just did it because I felt like I had to, not because I had a freaking clue from a business leadership, marketing perspective, why it's so beneficial. And that is, I told the people in my audience, look, this is my next goal. I'm working towards this. And this is how I'm showing up. I have literally no clue how this is going to work out, but it's just cool. And one of those things was, my impossible goal is for the first year to make $1 million in sales. I have no clue. It seems so far away, but I think it's just fun. Let me do it. And I was talking about it over and over again, not from like, I have accomplished this. I'm like, I have no idea how. It seems very impossible, but I'm on this path, on this journey, and I'm doing the freaking work. And this really allowed people to see how I lead myself and accomplish those really wild, impossible goals over and over and over again. So I truly led myself. The words I used, they meant something. And this is how I showed up. This is till today how I show up. This is why, for me, there's no guilt and shame talking about my big wild, audacious goals. Like, I want to build a company that makes $150 million in sales every year. And by now, in the beginning, this seemed so far off. And by now, I'm meeting more and more entrepreneurs that are there already. They've did it, even with the coaching consulting business. And it's so mind-blowing to see how I'm evolving and growing every single day to build this. And there's so many new skills I'm learning every single day. Every freaking single day. And I'm sharing this with you because when we are leading ourselves, when we are overcoming our self-sabotage, when we keep showing up no matter what. And yes, there are seasons. Sometimes it's easier, sometimes it's harder. It's for sure harder when you get a public shitstorm. Trust me, I've been there. I shared this in the last episode. It takes a recovery time. If you're not a machine, I would say it takes a recovery time. And how long that recovery time is depends on everyone. But when we show up no matter what, we become so magnetic because now people are like, how is she doing this? What's happening here? Like, I don't have to sell you anything. You see how I'm leading myself. You see how I'm leading my business. You see how I'm showing up, what I'm sharing, what I'm not sharing. And this makes you magnetic. And this is what people don't understand in my world. If you buy from me once, it's most likely that you immediately will start buying everything I offer. We see this over and over and over and over again. Just the other day, someone bought the $22 offer for She Leads for the first module. Immediately. But about 48 hours afterwards, this woman reached out and requested my one-on-one coaching. And if you've been in my world, you know my one-on-one coaching is $250,000. So it's so wild to see how everything works. And at the same time, it's exactly on the frequency of fast. Because the frequency of fast is always authenticity. And if someone's there speaking their opinion, walking their talk, it is so magnetic. We don't have to talk about boundaries. I do not have boundaries. I have freaking standards. My standard is to go to the gym 4 or 5 times a week. My standard is to work out. My standard is to teach and train my team. My standard is to focus on money. My standard is to create amazing value. My standard is to create outstanding offers. My standard is to keep growing and evolving every freaking single day. So the teachings I'm bringing to the table are getting better and better and better and better. I don't need boundaries for that. I have standards. And when you live by your standards, people freaking respect this. This is really magnetism. There's nothing like you can do like, let me try to be magnetic. We are not becoming magnetic. You are automatically magnetic because you do the things you say you do. And can you see if we don't master this, if you don't master this in the beginning, it gets very, first of all, slow. It's very difficult to build momentum. And most likely, because what's slow, which frequency is very slow, is the frequency of fear. So you're going to be stuck in fear for quite a while. This is another reason why I always say I do things fast in my world and like kind of fuck slow, because when I'm fast, things are moving, energy is moving, the universe is always freaking moving. It's never still. So I like to move because when I'm moving, I'm not in fear. But I hear my fear, I listen to my fear, I give my fear attention the moment things are slow. Don't misunderstand me. I'm still doing like breathwork and meditations. It's a very conscious choice when I'm slow. And that's not slow for me, it's quiet. They're the frequencies for me. I'm fast and I'm quiet. One is I'm proactive and the other one is listening. However, when I'm quiet, when I'm listening, I choose what I'm listening to. And at those points of time, like when I'm doing breathwork meditations, I consciously decide I'm listening to nothing. I'm not listening to my fear. I've done this for so long and it made me so freaking slow. And I'm just done being slow. And if this resonates with you, start becoming faster decisions, not like overthinking. I see this over and over again, and there's nothing wrong with like, oh, let me think about this, let me contemplate this. And this is really, when I learned about human design and that I'm a generator, people always told me, I'm like, don't make impulsive decisions, like think about it, take your time. And I really did this for the last 2 years, 24 months. I'm like, let me give this a try because this is really the polar opposite of how I used to operate. And why not? Let me see how it works, how I like it, and what the output is. And to make it short, I'm like, I don't care if this is my human design profile. If I'm like not making decisions immediately, I feel so slow. I do not like it. I feel things are not moving, and I saw this in my output, in the sales, and how my business grow. And I'm like, okay, this is cool. This is how I should do it according to human design, but I don't. It doesn't resonate with me. And there's one thing all powerful business people have in common, and that is they make fast decisions, because by making fast decisions, my business is moving fast. I feel literally the pace in which I make decisions translates directly to the pace in which my business is growing. And that's why just this weekend, I've invested in 3 masterminds. That was an investment in total of $45,000. And they were because 3 different masterminds for the next year. And they were in very different things I wanted to learn and I wanted to master. But most people would be, most people I would say are like not investing in one. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is 15K, this is 30K. No, oh my gosh, this is 100K, so much money. I don't know. Let me think. I don't know. So this is probably the majority of people. Then there's the next level, which already like sees and values. I'm like, okay, if I'm surrounding myself in a very powerful environment that is already beneficial. If I'm learning skills now, it's even better. And there were even masterminds I've invested in the past just to be in the environment. My intention was not really to learn something. Obviously, I deeply believe we always learn something, but just to see, most of you would not invest in a 50K mastermind just to be in the environment. It's so far off, but these are the wild decisions I did and I always do. So I've invested in 3 masterminds because there were 3 skills I want to learn, and not one after each other, but all simultaneously. So I'm going there. I know I can do it. I've done it in the past. I'm all in. I'm committed. So just sharing this because I want you to do a check in. How are you investing? How are you making decisions? How much are you like overthinking? It's all a representation of leading yourself. And here's why. Because some people may think, oh my gosh, I've invested all this money. What if it's gone? Like, I don't have the money. Yeah, do a freaking payment plan. Next part then is, but what if the money doesn't come back? I do not have those thoughts. I've never had those thoughts. I have to be very honest from the beginning. And here's why. Because I know that I am the woman who I am, that's taking the program, that's implementing the work, and that's doing the shit. I know how I'm leading with better and new information and when I'm implementing it. And that has to lead to a higher output. That has to lead to 10x that investment. That's my philosophy that always has worked and that would always will be working. Because I am showing up, I'm participating, I'm doing the work, I'm implementing, and I must earn. It is like being a freaking gardener. If I'm putting in the seeds every day, if I'm nurturing the seeds every day, there has to become the season of harvesting. It is a non-negotiable. It has to. No farmer would be there putting in the seeds, nurturing every single day without receiving harvest season. It's impossible. And this is how I see about my business, how I'm leading myself, how I'm showing up. And that's why I'm making more and more money faster and faster and faster. And if this is something you desire, jump on that frequency, join. That's why Manifesting Big Money Faster University is so freaking powerful, because we're doing this work for 12 months. And if you plug in, things are going to change quickly. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast Manifesting Big Money Fast. I've got 3 very important announcements for you. First, if you like what you're listening, make sure you leave some gratitude, leave a review, share the podcast. Second, if you love what you're listening to and you want more of that, there is a VIP version available. That means you will have access to 3 podcast episodes every single week. Simply check out the store, courses.richandhappiness.com, or the link in the show notes. And lastly, there are always monthly money activations happening around the new moon and full moon. If that is something you're interested, check out the store for the next money activation. I love you, and I can't wait to see your beautiful face soon again.